This is the There Is Another Way podcast from spencerbruce.com. Making life work as a creative. Hi there, boys and girls. Brucey here with this week's There Is Another Way podcast from my new location. Yes, I've finally moved. I've been talking about it for a while, and now I am settling in. Still plugging things in. Still got a lot of things to sort out in terms of getting the studio back up and running and everything. But it's coming along really well, and all the stuff is slotted in, and we're good to go. I hope you've all had a really good week. Hope you enjoyed the podcast last week. I certainly got some interesting feedback from it in terms of what people were thinking about limitation. I think I really need to discuss it a bit more because it is such a massive concept. And to be honest, it really ties in with the whole moving thing and some of the things I've been thinking during this process. And that is what I'm kind of going to discuss today. It's all about stuff and how much stuff we have and life. And there is another way. Obviously, that's what we're mostly talking about with the podcast. Well, that's what we're totally talking about. But a lot of things have come to mind during this whole moving process and spurred on by the limitation exercise that I gave last week. So that is what I'm going to primarily talk about this week. I can't really think of a good title, just stuff, life, consuming, and more stuff, and letting go. I think letting go of stuff is a major weight off your shoulder and a major ability to just be freer from things and get on with life. And when you start doing that, you realize you don't need so much stuff. Therefore, you don't need so much money to buy stuff. Therefore, you can get by with less stuff, less money. And with less money, you can do more things that you want to do. So, yeah, those, that's what we're going to talk about today. Those are the biggest thing that's really struck me this week during this whole process, primarily because I thought I was quite minimalist. I think I was really good at limiting what I have and keeping things down. But wow, have a lot of stuff. And when it comes to my studio, wow, I've got quite a small studio, but the ancillary stuff that goes with it, like cables. Holy crap, have I got a lot of cables, boxes and boxes of cables. And when you unplug everything, you realize how many cables they are. And that's part of the reason I'm still not 100% up and running, because I'm still plugging cables back in. But I will get on to that. In terms of news this week, well, the main news obviously for me is I've moved, put out some videos. I bought a new piece of gear last week, so completely hypocritical, completely against what I'm saying. But I bought some new guitar gear with the hope that, well, not the hope, the actual idea that it's freaking awesome, and I'm going to be I'm going to be hitting eBay big time, because this one piece of gear is going to replace a lot of my older stuff with one piece of equipment, which is really good. And another thing that got me thinking, and what we'll come on to in the topic today, is how with this, in this modern day and age with laptops and computers, how we've still got so much paper floating around and things floating around when, you can have your whole music library on one iPod, for example. Anyway, there's that news. I've uploaded quite a few videos to YouTube this week. Again, really interesting to see what people like on YouTube, and particularly in terms of gear. It seems like the stuff I do on gear is more popular than the lessons I do, which I find really interesting. So it certainly guides me, and it's really good to see some videos really racking up the views and getting some interesting feedback. Also uploaded a couple of, just one live music video. And then this evening, going off to see Snarky Puppy. If you've not heard of them, they're a jazz funk. Oh, they're just awesome. Check them out. Go onto YouTube, put in Snarky Puppy, check them out. An amazing band of musicians. They're a massive band of musicians. I've seen them once before, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing them tonight. So, this week's topic, stuff, life. I've talked a couple of weeks ago about decluttering, because in the process of moving, I mentioned that I was decluttering. I was putting stuff on eBay, getting rid of stuff, and it felt really cathartic and good. And then again, you realise you got a lot of stuff you don't actually need. But it's only now in the process of actually moving and putting stuff in boxes and then unboxing them, you start to go, wow, I still have a lot of stuff. I'm still connected to a lot of things. What do I need all these things for? And the kind of nexus of this idea of what I want to talk about today is that I felt, and this is all, I'm not sure I'm going to give any advice here. It's just, this is just my thought process I'm going to talk about at the moment, because I kind of felt a little bit down. I felt, when I was going through all these things, I was like, wow, I've got a lot of stuff and it takes a lot of energy for me to move. A lot of energy to just, be free. I'm connected to all these things. I also had a few morbid thoughts as well. Because I've thought this on many occasions before. And I apologize for being a bit, down. But I was thinking, if anything happened to me and I, passed away, or someone's got to go through all this stuff. And they won't know what these little stupid things that I keep sometimes, And again, don't get me wrong, I'm not talking about everything. If you've got something that's really important to you, keep it. It's not. But I've just got so many little trinkets and things, and I was just like, why do I keep some of them? I don't know. Some of them do have really important meaning. In fact, funnily enough, right here, looking at, some things around me that, I look at them and I go, yeah, that reminds me of that time and that reminds me of that time. That's fine. I'm not saying get rid of everything. But as I was going through, lots of guitar pedals, like lots of little bits of plastic and random bits of wood and tools, and I've got, 50 screwdrivers, and you think, well, I need one of those because I don't know, why do I need so many screwdrivers? I need a really good set, or maybe, maybe two, but not so many. But this thing is, you just don't feel like you want to get rid of them. And another thing, pens. Again, I'm just giving you my explicit examples, and there's many examples of things, but it kind of ties in with a lot of things that, you think, why don't I just get rid of them? And if I need them, I'll get another one. It doesn't, start from year zero, call this year zero. And that's how I'm feeling. It's like a lot of this stuff is from the past. A lot of this stuff I'm holding on to. I've collected it and moved it. Pens. I threw out a lot of pens that didn't even work. Why did I even have them in my drawer? I don't need them. I'm looking at here. You can hear them here. I don't know, probably about 30 pens in a drawer, and then I've got another drawer here with another. That's enough pens to get me through for some time. And at some point in life, in the next couple of months, weeks, I'll go to an event and I'll probably get another pen. Or I'll go and stay at a hotel and I'll get another pen. That got me thinking. The same with shoes. I seem to have a lot of shoes. It's strange for a guy, I know. But how long does a pair of shoes last me? I tend to buy a really decent pair of boots, which I'll probably get, probably a year and a half, 2 years out of. And a good pair of walking shoes, again, I'll probably get a year and a half out of those walking shoes. And I have a pair of smart shoes, and I have another pair of smart shoes. I don't go out that often to smart events that need it, but I've got them. But I've got loads of extra pairs of boots and shoes that I haven't, I think, maybe I'll wear them one day, or one pair in particular are really old. Why have I held on to them? Could just get rid of them or pass them on to charity or something, because I don't need them. If I lighten my load to a point where, I'll keep things that I think I'm probably going to use in the future, but going through clothes, for example. I've got clothes I've never worn. I bought them. I don't know why I bought them. They sit in there and I think, well, I can't get rid of them because they're new. If I haven't worn them in 5 years, am I really going to wear them? No. Or at least the way I'm thinking now is, I'm just going to, I've got a moratorium on buying stuff now. I'm just going to wear out everything I have until I get to a point, and probably looking at the amount of stuff I've got a good few years worth of shoes and clothes to get through before I need to, think about buying new stuff. Think of the money I'm saving when I do that. But also think about the money I could have saved by not buying them. Buying things when I needed them rather than when I wanted them. And that's the kind of the nub of what I'm getting to here. I bought a lot of stuff because we've said this in the past. I was probably down and in a job I didn't like, and I bought stuff to keep me happy. And I bought stuff, I don't really know. That's what I've been thinking. Why have I been buying this stuff? And of course, there is stuff I need to work. But even then, I've got a lot of stuff that is extraneous to use. And I'm thinking, maybe I should just get rid of it. If I needed it that much, I probably would have used it by now. Just get shot of it. Get that extra income in. That's going to help me with my there is another way lifestyle. Again, looking at all the stuff, go around your house, have a bit of an audit. See, see what you've got, what you can make use of. Because if you start making use of the things you already own, you're going to not need as much money to spend. And that was the thing as well. It's like, hey, how much money have I spent on this stuff I'm not using? Probably thousands. I'm not joking, probably thousands. That's what a first world problem to have. But, I'm now thinking, I've got to get a job. Why am I doing, going back to thinking about the 9 to 5, why are you doing these jobs? Because we're buying this stuff and we've got this stuff and then we've got the debt that we probably may have accrued to do this. I wish I'd spent that money in hindsight on, drinks with my friends and going on adventures and holidays. But no, I'm working really hard to buy this stuff that I'm not using. That's what has struck me the most. And it really, really got to me, as you can probably tell. It's like, why? Why do it? Well, and now it's been a wake-up call. Maybe, and hopefully this wake-up call is going to stick with me, and we're not going to go out and buy more and more new stuff for a while. Therefore, saving money. I'm just going to be really mindful of what I have, making the use of all the things I've got, limiting myself. That's where last week's podcast come in, limiting myself to what I got. I've got loads of musical equipment. I've got a great studio. I've got most things I want, but I'm still not producing a lot. Why? Because I'm probably worrying about the stuff. That also ties you into a lifestyle. Imagine, and the idea that comes to my mind is when you're on holiday or you're traveling a bit, you put everything into one bag probably if you're a really good traveler. What do you have in that bag? A couple of t-shirts, some changes of underwear, maybe a change of shoes, toothbrush, iPod charger, all those, things. And then you go and you're off. And when you need something along the way, you buy it and you use it and you move on. And when something else runs out, when a t-shirt runs out, you get another one if you need it. Or you buy things as you need them. You're not worried about stuff, and you're light, you're flexible, you're traveling. And I feel that this can be applied to everyday life, just lightening the load of all the things you have. And of course, we've all got sentimental trinkets, and going back to the point where I kind of jumped a little bit off top, I also found lots and lots of things, bits of paper and random. It's just like I would feel so sorry for someone in my life, because I know how that would feel. If I had to clear out someone's stuff, I would be devastated, that they were gone. I don't know how I would cope losing them. And then at the same time, having to go through their things and not knowing what was important sometimes. Random bits of paper that I collected with, does that just go in the bin? What is it? Is it important? I don't know. And someone else knows. And also, from my perspective, I can't even remember, but it's like, oh, it's a bit of paper. It seems to be important. I've collected it. For some reason, it must be important. Therefore, I'll keep it. I'll just put it back where it came from and worry about it in 10 years' time or 20 years' time when it's probably too late. If it's really important, you'll be able to re-find it, hopefully, or make a note of it. And I've got a book now of random bits and pieces, and I keep everything in one book where I know everything is, not the random bits of paper. I'm just throwing bits of paper out. I'm throwing dead pens away. I'm throwing rubbish away. I'm throwing items of clothing. I'm not throwing them away. I'm giving them to charity. But it's like, I don't really like this. Why have I kept this t-shirt? I don't like it. I've never liked it. Or I just never think I'm going to wear it. I've just got rid of it. A couple of old band t-shirts. I just feel like I'm a guy of a certain age now that I just don't want to wear band t-shirts anymore. Particularly my band t-shirts from 20 years ago, which are faded and baggy. Yeah, of course. A brilliant reminder of being at that gig. And I know some people love that. And don't get me wrong, if that's you, then you knock yourself out with that. It's totally cool. But it's not me. And I was thinking, they're just taking up space, for a lot of space for mementos. This material, this band t-shirt could be used by someone else. I'm just going to get rid of it. And that's what I have. It was harsh, but I will always remember the concert, I hope. I've got pictures, I've got friends who I went with. That's all I need. The memories, because at the end of the day, the memory, that's the most important thing. And I feel personally, again, maybe you guys feel this, or you can hear that, that by doing this, it's really helping me on my There Is Another Way lifestyle, because I realize I've got a big wealth. Think of it in terms of cans of food in the cupboard. I've just found a massive cupboard full of food and clothes and bits and pieces that are going to see me through for some time. So I'm just going to wear that down till there's only a few cans. Then I'm going to restock or figure out what I really need. Let's just make the use of everything. And in the process, I'm going to be saving money. And of course, saving money is great. And by saving money, I don't need to earn as much money. Therefore, I can work out my pots, my overall budget, my target amount comes down, and life becomes easier. And I can step away. And it's the classic Fight Club line about we buy things to impress people we don't even like. All the kind of the metaphors and messages within Fight Club talking about how we spend money and buy credit just to make ourselves happy from our miserable lives. I'm just going to concentrate more on doing things, not owning things. It's the limitation exercise. I'm limiting my life to the things, and hopefully with the things I've got, I can start to be more creative. If I haven't got something I need, I'm going to try my hardest to make something from the things I've already got and make that work. And who knows, I'll come up with something exciting in the process. And of course, tongue in cheek, I've just gone out and bought a massive guitar pedal. But no, it's it's consolidating. It's getting rid of stuff. That's the argument to myself. But it is. I'm moving with the technology, and I don't need. This is the point. I've bought some new technology, which is really going to make my life a lot easier in the long run. I don't need to keep the old stuff. In the past, I would have kept the old stuff. I don't know when it'll come in useful. I might use it someday. That might well be true. But right now, the old stuff just needs to go. The old stuff will pay for the new stuff as well. Hopefully, that's the other argument to myself. But, you'll get where I'm getting rid of. I've got one thing on a backup, two things to keep me going, and that is enough. And I just want to explore what I can do with this. So I'd really love to hear your thoughts on this. So again, this hasn't been like a tips and advice one. This has just been me spouting out some of the thoughts, because I've had a lot of thoughts and a lot of time of thinking this week, and a lot of time of unpacking and going through things and memories and just going, what is all this stuff? Why do I have it? What is it doing for me? And I'd encourage you, maybe you're not moving, but maybe just it's time to just do an audit of the stuff you have and find out how much you can throw away. And then your space becomes clearer as well. It becomes more minimal. You can move around your house. You can move around your areas more. It feels clearer. It's like a weight lifts off your mind. That's how I feel. It's like a massive weight. I've been carrying a big, heavy sack full of stuff. And now I'm just throwing stuff out of the sack and really getting the sack down to the minimal things that I need to move forward. And it feels lighter. I feel freer. I don't feel tied in with this stuff. I hope you found that interesting and useful. I'd love to hear your comments. As always, please do subscribe, check out the Facebook group, send me an email, whatever it is, although I'd encourage you to post your thoughts on the Facebook group, and let's get a group discussion going. Thank you for your time this week. Hopefully the new studio will be back up and running next week, and everything will be wonderful. Until then, have an awesome week, enjoy the sunshine, and I will catch you later.